Morara Kebaso is a 29-year-old lawyer.
Yes.
Doing business in this republic, more so furniture manufacturing business. He's also the leader of the Inject Party of Kenya and undisputably the president of the Gen Zs. Yes. Yeah, I intend to run for president of the Republic of Kenya on behalf of the young people of Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Njia ya kumaliza ufisadi ni kutokuwa mfisadi we mwenyewe kwanza. That's the first step. You have to make a personal decision to be satisfied with what God has given you. Once you're satisfied with what God has given you and continues to give you every day, and you do not have to steal to be rich or try to acquire wealth that you do not need, then you can go ahead and fight corruption. And the tactics of fighting corruption are very simple. Number one, what helps corruption thrive in our country is a bad culture. We have a very permissive culture towards corruption because this corruption is done by almost everyone. There are lawyers involved who are people who have taken an oath before court to be advocates of the High Court and to uphold the Constitution. We have engineers who have taken an oath and are on the Engineers Board of Kenya, professionals we expect the best from. We have judges taking bribes, you know, to give favorable judgments. We have the bank teller, down to the bank teller, who is the one who is being given instructions, toa hii pesa kwa hii account, put in this one, to the messenger who carries the money. So it means this corruption cannot just be finished by targeting the leaders alone. We have to target the root cause of the problem, and that is the culture and societal values that we have. So now, at the speed at which Ruto anakopa pesa, by 2027, my approximation is that deni ya Kenya itakuwa around 15-16 trillion. Now, we need to stop. You know, ukijipata ukiwa kwa shimo, you stop digging. So the first step is to stop borrowing, because we need to ask ourselves, what are we borrowing for? And mostly, we are borrowing for theft. Yeah, we are borrowing for people to steal. So, corruption and bad debt, they are intertwined. I don't know whether you've heard of this, but money meant for debt repayment imekuwa ikiibwa. Yes, it's something that is happening in the Republic of Kenya, where money is withdrawn from the treasury for purposes of repaying our debt, and it's stolen. The money to repay the loan is stolen. So then it means we have a corruption problem. So we stop corruption, we stop the borrowing, we assess what is our current debt. And I tell you, the approximation will be around 16 trillion. Now, I don't plan to tax Kenyans to get this money. I plan to get this money from the corrupt individuals that have it. That is the money I will use to pay debt. No other money. And the money is there. If it's not in cash, it's in property. Of course, there's a few that was wasted, maybe on alcohol and what have you. But most of this money is there. For example, I know that, for example, there's 4 billion shillings that was stolen by the Uhuru Kenyatta government under what is called the fuel subsidy program.
You're sure about that?
I'm sure about it. Over a period of about 6 months, this money was stolen. It's 34 billion. The money was taken to Hong Kong. Now, there is a company that was registered in Hong Kong. It's a construction company. And that construction company that is registered in Hong Kong has an account in a bank called the Exim Bank of China. Inside that bank account, which it has at the Exim Bank of China, it has more than 100 million US dollars.
Wow.
Now, if you needed to recover some of this money, that's one account. Now, they have several accounts in the bank and other banks. JP Morgan, they have an account. They have an account at Citibank. Most of this money is there, and it is in cash. The one that is not in cash is in property. And, for example, Expressway, which we pay for, it belongs to us. The money that built Expressway is our money.
Yes.
But it is a huge scheme of money laundering. Now, if we wanted to finish that kind of a problem, we have to nationalize it. We have to nationalize that asset. So it's quite a process to finish corruption, but it is something you can do stroke by stroke by going after corrupt proceeds of crime, wherever that money has been kept and the properties which it has bought. We have corrupt government officials who have built apartments in Ruaka. Some have built apartments in Kilimani. We used to have the governor of Kiambu, is now a cabinet secretary, Kabogo. I know that he has houses here in Runda. One house is valued at about 60, 70 million. And he has more than 100 houses there. That is, he'll have to explain that wealth. If he cannot, hiyo ni nyumba ya polisi. So this property can be accessed, it is there, it exists, and if you want to repay this debt of 16 trillion, you just need to go for where it is, which is in the hands of corrupt individuals. No, sometimes you have to go for them wholesale.
Okay.
You know, one by one is tedious, because there are so many of them.
Yes.
We have so many former corrupt governors, so many former corrupt MPs, we have so many former we have a former corrupt president, former corrupt ministers, and all these people are part of one family. So if you need to go for it, you go for it wholesale and stroke by stroke. But my understanding of how we should fight corruption is that first we begin with big money. You know, there is this 50 bob that is stolen, or rather that is picked as a bribe by traffic officers. That is 50 bob. But there is this 104 billion that was set aside for SHA to build a medical records system. Now, of course, there is no medical records system that costs 104 billion. So why waste so much state resources and energy, people paid by the state, to go after 50 bob, to go arresting traffic officers, when you've left the bigger thief who has stolen 6 billion, 10 billion, 100 billion, and if you are to recover even half of this money, you can impact the lives of no less than 10 million Kenyans at once. So some of this money needs to be made available for development. It's the money that should pay our debt. It's the money that should build our roads. It's the money that should buy medical equipment that is lacking. And it is also the money that should be available for young people, youths like me and you, to borrow and do business and grow ourselves. Last time I was on the Vampire Diaries was 2 weeks ago, and I was in Nakuru County. And I can actually take you through some of the projects that we toured there. We went to the Mai Mahiu Hospital. The Mai Mahiu Hospital was allocated 157 million shillings. The money was paid in full, but the contractor never finished the job. They allocated another 40 million for stealing. Then they allocated another 30 million again for stealing. So about 75 million shillings was stolen. I went to the fish market in Naivasha. It's called the Karai Fish Market. It was worth over 360 million shillings. Yes. I went to Kuresoi North, where I toured the Olengurune Stadium, which was allocated 119 million shillings. 75 million was already paid to the contractor, and the only thing alifanya ni kuchimba shimo. And that was the end of it. I went to Keringet. Keringet High Altitude Training Center, which is actually the home of 5,000 meter champion Faith Kipyegon. I went to the Njoro Neswit Road, which is also combines the Mauche Road and also the Piston Elbagon Road. This was a road for around 1.1 billion shillings. To this day, only 2 kilometers was ever done, and the President, William Ruto, launched it twice. So I've been on the ground. I don't think I'm missing. What happens is probably Kenyans should understand that it is expensive to be out there. Yes. It's not cheap. If it was cheap, everybody would do it. Yes. But because it's expensive to tour these counties, to do research on these projects, you need an office, you need to maintain researchers, you need to fuel to go to the ground. And as you go to the ground, you need to know that the people you are offending, sio watu hivi hivi, they are very powerful people. So you probably need security, you need accommodation, somewhere to sleep, because probably you will do this for 2 or 3 days, mfululizo. So there's a cost that comes with it. And sometimes because of that expense, the expense becomes a deterrent for us being able to do more. If we were to get more resources, believe you me, I would be sleepless. I would do it day and night. But because we are also, limited in terms of how much money we have to put it together, itoshe, then we go to the ground, do 3-4 days consistently, maybe 10, 12 projects, then we come. that I have cars.
Yes.
But some of these cars, I bought them 6 years ago.
Yes.
Some of them I bought 7 years ago.
Yes.
Probably last year I've only bought one more car.
Yes.
And I bought that car after selling another one.
Okay.
So I sold one or two.
Yes.
I made a top-up and decided to buy a car that I thought would help.
Yes.
And also because I'd seen the challenges that I was facing with the car that I had and needed maybe something a bit more powerful and faster. So because of that,
Yes.
I think some people can think that probably that money is what I used to buy cars, but that's not true.
Yes.
I'm a hardworking Kenyan. I have businesses,
Yes.
I have a career,
Okay.
I have connections. So, yani si ati siwezi afford gari. I don't have to changisha from Kenyan Space ya Civic Education nichukue hiyo ndo ninunue gari. I could afford a car 7 years ago. I could afford a car 6 years ago by the grace of God, which
Yes.
I am very grateful that God gave me that opportunity to do that. So, yes, I bought a car, but not with public funds. It was personal. I don't even know how it ended up in the internet. I think it's because maybe I'm a public figure.
Yes.
So some people get excited. Sometimes maybe even neighbors, you know, they take pictures and it ends up in the internet.
Yes.
But it's just to assure Kenyans that every single cent and shilling that they contribute to our civic education
Yes.
only goes to civic education. I have a 14-member committee that actually audits these finances. So it's not really me who does these kind of things, yes.
Okay.
Ni mlipa ushuru halisi. Kitu tumekosana ni hesabu. Na pia utumizi wa taasisi za umma kujaribu kukandamiza wakosoaji wa serikali.
Okay.
I'm a victim of being targeted by government agencies. I've been targeted by DCI before. I've been targeted by NIS before. And now I'm being targeted by KRA. And all I can say is this. I have accountants, I have a lawyer. We can sit down, calculate. If indeed
Yes.
this is not politics,
Yes.
then they will find out that they are the ones who owe me. I'm not the ones who owe them. They owe me a tax refund.
Okay.
But mambo ya KRA, mambo ya hesabu, I don't even know why it was made a political issue.
Yes.
But that's probably because they were doing it for politics. But the 186 million that they say I did not pay taxes on, that is not true.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's not true.
It is not true. And we've actually been preparing our documents, and even my lawyers have been working on it. We've given them our financial audited statements. We've given them our amended tax returns. And I believe by just looking at it, they will understand. Absolutely nothing. That's the truth. There is nothing positive that he has done.
Yes.
Because if I just go through with you the sectors of our country,
Yes.
let's begin with security.
Yes.
National security and external security.
Yes.
Our national security is a mess. Because we have a situation where citizens born in Kenya who have rights are arrested, they disappear, they are killed, they turn up in morgues, some are cremated, and they are never found. So there is no security of person. You know, people cannot walk around Kenya secure. They are not even fearing majambazi.
Yes.
They are more afraid of government than majambazi. Now look at our external security, how we are relating with other nations.
Yes.
We are literally hosting rebels who have fought a legitimate government in Sudan called Janjaweed in Kenya here to support their bid to overthrow a legitimately established government, and we are creating an external security problem because then their enemies become our enemies and we expose ourselves to attack. So let's get off security. And mind you, security in our country NIS gets about 44 billion.
Yes.
National Police Service gets about 132 billion.
Yes.
If you look at what is happening, there is no value for money.
Yes.
Let's come to healthcare. Healthcare is a total mess. It is a total mess for sure. This thing that they were calling Social Health Authority, which is SHA, it's not working. And that's the truth. People are preferring to pay cash Watu wako wanafungua WhatsApp group. Personally, I've been added to more than 300 WhatsApp groups za kuchangia watu ambao wako hospitali. Kenyatta, KU Referral Hospital, Moi Referral Hospital, I don't know which hospital again. There is no proper healthcare and there is even no equipment. In the whole of Coast region, an MRI machine can only be found in Mombasa Referral Hospital. An MRI machine that tests cancer, and cancer is one of the killer diseases that we have right now. And in the whole of that region, one MRI machine costs only 100 million. The president in one trip, hizo magari zake tu zikikunywa mafuta, they consume 100 million. Is enough for an MRI machine. Yeah. The kind of money that is being stolen from our government is enough for every Kenyan to have an MRI machine of their own in their house, just like a fridge. Okay. Now, let's get away from healthcare. Yes. And on this same issue of healthcare, yes, we have mothers who have delivered when you wamelala watatu wanne kwa kitanda. Can you imagine? You know, somebody has been pregnant for 9 months. They are excited. Maybe it's even their first child. They're so excited at this bundle of joy. Yes. And then they sleep on the floor of a hospital. My wife has something they call Warembo na Inject. So she went to see mothers at Mama Lucy Hospital. Yes. To give them, pampers and, this and that, newborn mothers. She saw about 90 mothers. Yes. They're sharing beds. 2, 3. Mwingine hata nasahau analalia mtoto. Because, after the birth, they go into a deep sleep. Sometimes waweza sahau ulalie mtoto. Children are being stolen from hospitals. Let's get away from healthcare. Let's come to education. Yes. What is the state of our universities? Kenyatta University, there is a management problem. Kenyatta University, you go there, broken tiles, ceiling is falling off in the lecture halls. There's no money for maintenance. Yes. The money that is allocated to the university is being stolen. You go to Moi University, total mess. Land meant for the university in Moi University is being stolen, yes, grabbed by private developers. In Kenyatta University here, there is land behind the university next to the referral hospital called Kamai. Yes. It's being grabbed. You go to University of Nairobi, they've been having leadership wrangles without end. Yes. Why? Because of money. Our universities are collapsing. Then let's go to the quality of education and the relevance of the university degrees. People are going to university to study for a job that is not there. Most of the people that are in university right now, the job they are studying for does not exist in the market. Let's come to economy. Yes. The ability of people to make money and money to serve their needs. Yes. There's no money. People are literally working for rent, for stima, for kulipa mishahara, and for fare. Yes. Nobody is able to spare even 5,000 or 2,000 to save for investment. Yes. Hakuna pesa. The young people who didn't have jobs last year don't have jobs this year. Yes. The ones who didn't have jobs 3 years ago, yes, hawana paka sai. There are people who graduated more than 8 years ago that don't have jobs to this day. Na si ati ni walevi, si ati hawaombi Mungu, si ati hawataki kazi. They've applied for jobs until their job has become applying for jobs. They now don't even have money to print CVs. Yes. So that's the state of our country. So if you were to ask me whether there is something William Ruto has done that is positive, that we can look and say, enyewe, hii ni kitu mzuri. Yes. The answer is zero. It's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay. Yeah. This is what I'll tell you. Yes. And tell the young people, yes, as you told me. Youths or young people of Kenya, Gen Zs and young millennials, yes, you are the change that you want to see. Yes. Unless you are willing to step up for leadership, yes, do not trust these people that are there to change this country for you, because they won't. This system makes them rich and wealthy. They own estates and acres of land. They own choppers. They own homes in Karen and other upmarket estates. They change cars like toys because of this system. So if you are looking up to them, and I'm not just speaking about people in government, it is government and opposition. If you are looking up to them to change your country, I'm sorry, because they are not the ones who are going to change it. You people must be willing, ready to step up for leadership. I have stepped up. Give me the support that I need. What I need from my fellow young people, si kupigwa kila siku, ile saa amevaa ni ya pesa ngapi, ile sasa suti ni labda hiyo ni pesa yetu, ona sasa amenunua iPhone 16, hiyo lazima ni mchango yetu. What I need is support, because I speak on behalf of young people. If you give me your voices, if you lend me those voices, if you give me the strength I need and the support I need, I sure can bring your ideas to the table. And I can kick the door open for other young people who are behind me, who are hoping and trusting to be leaders. And if you are a young person and you get an opportunity to be a leader in this country, please make a difference. Don't be like these people that we have now. Make a difference. Show other people that there is something.
Radio Citizen. Radio number 1.